Support for WCBU's On Deck comes from Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road. Special offers available on nearly every new Jaguar with personalized service throughout purchasing and ownership. Jaguar, a proud luxury and performance brand. More at jaguarlandroverpeoria.com.
A wave of retirements means the end of some rural small businesses. That's just one of the things you want to hear about to start your day for Wednesday, July 17th. I'm Colin Shope, and this is WCBU's On Deck. First on deck today, the Peoria Civic Center is undergoing some major upgrades, $45 million worth. Among a list of various improvements, Director of Sales and Marketing Bo Sutherland assures hockey fans a new ice plant is still on that list.
With the ice plant, so the scheduling of that is tricky just around the events because, what we've been told is it could take up to 120 days.
Sutherland says the Civic Center will continue to use the current ice plant for the upcoming Riverman season. Besides some HVAC and roof work, Sutherland says there's a focus on getting the public-facing projects ready to go for the next season.
This is a wonderful facility that we have in downtown Peoria. We're excited for these upgrades, and we really think that when our patrons and our fans come in to the facility, that they're really going to appreciate them as well.
Some of these other features include expanded concession stands with new grab-and-go options aimed at cutting down on wait times, a colossal new scoreboard, LED screens encircling the arena, and refurbished bathrooms. Sutherland says this is the longest list of projects at the venue since a revitalization effort in 2007. The Civic Center upgrades debut with a concert from the band Foreigner in late September. Here are some other stories we're following in the WCBU newsroom. Peoria Mayor Rita Ali says she will run for a second four-year term. And U.S. Senator Dick Durbin says he can't explain how a shooter came so close to assassinating former President Donald Trump over the weekend. Plus, Ameren, Illinois says 80% of their customers impacted by Monday night's storm should see their power restored by 10 p.m. today. You can find more of these stories and all of the details at WCBU.org. Longtime small business owners from the baby boomer generation are reaching retirement age, but many struggle to find someone who's willing to buy the business and keep it running for another generation. Harvest Public Media contributor Brian Beach reports on how the wave of retirements is hitting rural communities especially hard.
Stratton, Nebraska is a quiet town. The village has no school, one gas station, and is surrounded by farm and ranch land. Late last year, the town's lone lumberyard and hardware store, League Builders Supply, closed. Owner Dennis League was really ready to retire, but he feels some guilt about shutting down the business.
I'm not going to say Stratton's going to shrivel up and die because I'm not here, but I don't think it's going to help anything, and I feel bad about that. But there's a point where you got to take care of yourself, and I think I'm there.
League put the business up for sale more than a year ago in hopes of keeping a lumberyard in Stratton, but none of the few interested buyers could make it work in such a small community. Longtime resident 85-year-old Lauren Agel remembers when the village was thriving and League was able to employ up to 9 people at the lumberyard.
Back in them days, it was a different environment. The problem is we just don't have no people left. I mean, that's the whole town's problem.
The village had a population of more than 600 in 1950. Today, it's less than half that. Many other towns across the rural Great Plains and the Midwest have experienced similar losses. Young people migrating to larger cities and leaving behind aging populations are contributing to those losses, according to Ness Sandoval, a sociology professor at St. Louis University.
In rural areas, you tend to see more people dying and are born. And that has to do with, the brain drain, young people leaving, going to college, and not necessarily coming back home.
For the businesses that remain in towns like Stratton, it can be difficult for owners to find younger buyers once they're ready to retire. Renee Wyatt, a research specialist with the North Central Regional Center for Rural Development at Purdue University in Indiana, says the situation is reflected throughout rural America, and things are likely to get worse.
There's a silver tsunami coming. So there's basically going to be this mass exodus, right, of that baby boomer age who are going to all be retiring in the next 5 to 10 years.
In fact, a 2023 study from the Exit Planning Institute found that 75% of business owners would like to exit their businesses within the next 10 years. In Moran, Kansas, population 466, the sole grocery store is Marmaton Market. General manager and part owner Marilyn Logan is nearing 80, but has no plans on retiring soon.
I'm going to be here until they wheel me out to the ambulance in my chair.
However, Logan is looking to hire someone to help her manage the grocery store and lighten her current workload of 60 to 80-hour weeks. That process hasn't been easy in the southeast Kansas town.
We need younger people, but we need younger people with skills. We don't have people in the town that are young enough to work that have the skills to work, and they're not interested in learning.
Without an ability to hire enough employees, selling a business can become even more challenging. At Vitali's Italian restaurant and pizzeria in Macomb, Illinois, Julie Dienst says her 86-year-old mom and older brother want to retire, but the longest-running single-owned restaurant in town is already short-staffed.
So it's real labor-intensive. It's more responsibilities falling on fewer people. So with more people retiring, it's a real heavy load.
2 years ago, the family decided to try to sell the business. But Macomb, the home of Western Illinois University, has lost a quarter of its population and is facing declining university enrollment. Dienst says that's made it a challenging market.
There are already several restaurants that are empty. So, having one more restaurant for sale, even though we're not closed like these other places, is just more competition, I guess.
Dienst says the family's restaurant has seen generations of customers come through their doors. And that, she says, is hard to put a price on. For Harvest Public Media, I'm Brian Beach.
Now, before we let you go, it's Heart of Illinois Fair Week. Through Saturday, find all the classic fair features like food, rides, games, and shows at Peoria's Exposition Gardens. Adult tickets are $10 and $5 for kids. And that's all for today. You can subscribe to WCBU's On Deck podcast on the NPR app, Apple, or Spotify.